tell you a tactic of Zionism. What they do is that every time you say something, they bring out Hitler. You understand? And they make you feel scared about Hitler. Okay, if Hitler killed as many Jews as he did, then what the Jews should do is take Germany. Why you go to Palestine? The Arabs ain't did nothing to you. Number one, go to Germany.
Germany.
Hey.
Germany. Because Germany is not our homeland, Israel is.
I'm coming. Egypt is mine. It's Africa. Is that correct?
That's right.
Why does Israel want to attack
Israel
Africa?
does not want Egypt.
Israel doesn't want Egypt.
No, it does not.
What does it want?
Israel wants Israel.
Where is
Israel
Israel?
wants-
What year was Israel recreated? How did you get it? How? Who gave it to you? Lord Balfour in London in 1916? Was it his?
The modern state of Israel was created by the United Nations.
You want to get in on this?
He's right.
Yeah. Okay.
He's absolutely correct. He is absolutely correct. And that shows you what an illegal, immoral, and unjust state is. Today, it won't even listen to the rules of the United Nations, which tells it to withdraw from the 1967 borders.
That's very interesting, Mr. Carmichael. On one
Come
hand,
on, let's work with it.
United Nations is a bunch of bullshit, and you know it.
Hey.
On one hand, you say that...
Please, wait, hold it. No, please. For respect of me, I don't curse publicly. I didn't go through that period. I left it where it belongs.
I said it, he didn't. The same roots
Yes.
and the same rights that
Right.
blacks have to Africa are the same rights that Jews have to Israel.
Oh,
Because they've been living in exile does not mean we've relinquished the right.
Brother,
We
you got-
still cherish it in our hearts.
I understand that. I understand.
So don't go off calling us aggressors, because we have a right to that land just as
Right.
blacks have a right to
I
Africa.
understand. I'm saying that Africa belongs to us. You say it belongs to you too. So
No, I don't.
Two spaces.
I say Africa is yours, but Israel is ours.
No.
There's a difference.
No.
Yes, there is.
Israel belongs to the Palestinians.
For someone who believes in humanity, you certainly haven't shown it to me here.
I do believe in humanity.
Only black humanity.
I believe, but that's humanity. Hey.
What about Jewish?
Hey.
No, if
Hey.
you're going to go that way, Stokely, then it's yellow humanity.
Hey, come on.
Probably what you lack is plenty of reasons. I don't think your current bank balance is a true indication of your level of intelligence. That I think you're...
What's the deal, chat? Welcome back to Positively Honest Podcast, where we keep it absolutely positively honest. You know what I'm saying? We don't apologize. You know what I'm saying? We don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't pretend. We don't lie. We got nothing. No agenda behind. You know what I'm saying? We just try. We are regular people who are tired of the mainstream media lies. Okay? So, that's one of the reasons why this channel is, you know what I'm saying, was created, is to keep it absolutely, positively honest, which means go after the truth. We go where the truth goes. Okay? We go after the truth. But here's one thing. Here's one freaking thing that separates my channel from others, okay? Positively honest means we keep it honest, truthful. However, we don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't like going down into the rabbit hole, like just, you know what I'm saying, name calling, shaming people. We don't do that out here. You know, I mean, maybe I could, maybe sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, we are human beings. Sometimes it's okay, but most of the time We're gonna keep it positively honest, which means we're gonna keep it truthful, honest, factual. And no matter what, how hard, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the truth is hard, ladies and gentlemen. Like, you already know that. The truth is hard. Sometimes it's hard to hear the truth. So, we're gonna keep it real, regardless how hard it is. We're gonna have a conversation, move forward, positive, plus. We don't have to go back. We gotta, you know what I'm saying? We gotta add 1 + 1. You gotta add, you know what I'm saying? We gotta move forward. So, be part of the positive community, positive club, the plus club, the plus community. That doesn't mean you're gonna, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna be like a happy hope. You're gonna just fucking laugh and like be happy even though you're fucking broke, even though your life is miserable, even though everything is falling apart. No, that's not.
Nope.
Nah. It just means keep it, you know what I'm saying, just keep it real, man. Just keep it you. Because a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, like, but anyways, we're gonna get into today's topic. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things that I noticed during this more than 30 days, close to 40 days, actually, yes, yeah, close to 40 days since, I would say, Hamas attacked Israel, and Israel, you know what I'm saying, like, retaliated and launched a war into Hamas, into the Palestinian people, into Gaza. And also, you know what I'm saying, like, the West Bank was not spared as well. So, I've noticed that a lot of people don't really know a lot about this topic. A lot of people don't really know a lot about the Palestinian people. A lot of people don't even know what are the Palestinians. Like, what kind of people are the Palestinians? Is Palestinians a race? A lot of people don't even know what's the difference between, you know, what is Gaza? What is Hamas? What is, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people are confusing all of this. So, I would like to take a moment and explain to, you know what I'm saying? Explain a little bit of, give you a little guidance, give you a little bit of a map, so you can have a map of a history, of a perspective. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear all these things, when things are keep continuing, so you know what's happening, you have a little bit of history to back it up. Because without a history, there's no way you're gonna know, you know what I'm saying, what's going on or what's gonna happen in the future. Okay? So let me give you that perspective. And we're gonna save all the questions at the end. But if there's a valid question that you guys want to answer, I mean, you guys want to, you know what I'm saying, like, some of you guys want to answer, go ahead. But if you guys want to ask, I will definitely continuously look down and, you know what I'm saying, read the chat as well. And there's also a poll, you know what I'm saying, just to kind of, you know what I'm saying, gauge of where people at. So, without further ado, let's get into the show, okay? Let's get into the show. Alright, so let's start with, what is the Israel-Palestine conflict about? A lot of you guys be like, oh, we always hear. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you guys might just, like, a lot of you guys are waking up right now. And it's totally understandable. You know what I'm saying? I was just like you guys before, okay? At some point, you didn't know anything about this situation or anything, okay? So, I try not to shame people. You know what I'm saying? Because I learned a lot. Actually, I learned more from YouTube than I have ever did from college or high school or all of that shit, okay? That's it, 100% fact. So, and college is a scam. But anyways, that's another day, another topic. But a lot of you guys will come in from the modern day, okay? I will show you where the map, well, you guys gonna come in, like from 21, or a lot of you guys don't know what was happening. A lot of you guys don't even know what was happening before October 7th. A lot of you guys don't really know what was happening in Gaza, what was happening to the Palestinian people, what was happening between Palestine and Israel, okay? So, let's go ahead, dive right in. And here he goes. You know what I'm saying? Because this history, it's killed tens of thousands of people and displaced millions of people, okay? Millions and millions of people. Let me put this. A lot of you guys might not hear me well with this music. So let's get into it. Let me know if you guys ever heard Nakba. That's another situation. But so I want to start, like I promised you guys, from the 1917. Okay, so more than 100 years history. Okay, so more than 100 years ago, on November 2nd, 1917, a British prince, then foreign secretary, okay, Arthur Balfour, and some of these names, obviously I won't be able to pronounce it clearly, so you know what I'm saying, if you got the need to correct me, go ahead. But Arthur Balfour wrote a letter addressed to Lionel Walter Rothschild, a figurehead of the British Jewish community. Keep that in mind, okay? The letter was short, just 67 words, but its content had Semitic effect, or actually that's Semitic effect on Palestine, on Palestine that is still felt today, okay? It committed to the British government to the establishment in Palestine of national home for Jewish people. So in 1917, it was British Foreign Secretary Arthur who wrote a letter to Lionel, who was a figurehead of the British Jewish community. Okay? And the letter, you know what I'm saying, was stating to commit and give, you know what I'm saying, the British government to establishment in Palestine of a national home of Jewish people. Okay? And to facilitate the achievement of this object. The letter is also known as Balfour Declaration. Okay? I came in with facts. I came in with all these articles. And I will definitely attach all of this. Okay? If you want to read it, you know what I'm saying, if you want to fact check, please, I welcome that, okay? Please fact check me. Don't just take my word for it. Do your own research, okay? I have nothing to gain from this. And this right here, this letter, the letter known as Balfour Declaration, is right here. And actually, I'm just going to close it. And actually, I'm going to open it right in front of you guys. Okay? Open this link in a new tab. Bam. And when I open it, where did it go? Oh, right here. It's still loading. More than, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay. It says, more than a century on, the Balfour Declaration explained. And that was the Balfour Declaration. Balfour Declaration. Okay? So, and it says, more than 100 years since British controversial pledge. And here is everything you need to know. I will, you know what I'm saying, attach this video because it's 47 minutes long. We're not going to watch that, okay? But basically, this declaration actually basically says, what is the, I'm going to read a little bit of this. So, what is the Balfour Declaration? The Balfour Declaration, the Balfour Promise in Arabic was a public pledge by Britain in 1917, declaring its aim to establish, you see this, a national home for Jewish people in Palestine. Okay? Now let me make this clear. I'm not saying there were no Jewish people in Palestine whatsoever. I'm not saying that at all. There were always. I'm not saying always, but there were Jewish people, as long as we know, okay, and living, and it wasn't a lot, but there were Jewish people living with the Palestinians peacefully in Palestine, okay? But this declaration basically trying to make a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine land, okay? And the statement came in form of a letter from Britain, then Foreign Secretary Arthur, addressing what we, you know what I'm saying, addressed, what we stated, Lionel Walter Rothschild, the figurehead of the British Jewish community, okay? And this is, before I stop reading this, so it was during World War I, okay? So now let's get back to where we left, okay? Which is kind of a little bit of the British letter, okay? That was given the declaration of, you know what I'm saying, of to establish a Jewish, a national home for the Jewish people, okay? The European power promised the Zionist movement, a country where Palestinian Arab natives made up more than 90% of the population. And I want you to guys keep in mind about the word Zionism or Zionist, okay? I want you guys keep that word in mind, because I will get into it a little bit later, okay? Because it's very important. It's very, very important, okay? So let's continue and move forward, okay? The British Mandate was created in 1923 and lasted until 1948. And during that period, the British facilitated, it's kind of hard for me to say that word, as you can see, facilitated a mass Jewish immigration. Many of the new residents were fleeing, obviously. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to say this word because of YouTube, but you know what it is. In Europe, okay? Mainly in Germany, okay? And they were faced, all that stuff. You already know. So now we just came from 1923. So keep that in mind. 1923. And now we're going to go to 7 years later, 1930s. Escalating tensions eventually led to the Arab Revolt, which lasted from 1936 to 1939. Okay? And in April 1936, newly formed Arab National Committee called on Palestinians to launch a general strike, withhold taxes, basically just say, hey, you know what, you guys are not. And they were the British were the colonizer of the Arabs, okay? The British were the colonizer, of the Palestinians, okay? And when the Palestinians found out that the British are trying to give the Jewish community a country inside of their country, they were not happy with that at all.
Nope.
They were not. And they try to, protest the British colonialism. Okay? And 6 months later, the British were like, how dare you guys try to, push back, basically. And they were repressed by the British, who were launched a mass arrest campaign carried out, basically. And I'm gonna show you guys right here in front of you guys. Basically, the homes, the demolition, the destruction is right here. And what does this say? Let me see. So, Israel's home demolitions, a war on nerves for Palestinians. East Jerusalem residents know that suspended demolition orders remain in force, might execute any moment. And there were, as you can see right there, this were happening right here. But since she moved into 13-unit building in the Palestinian neighborhood, south of the city, occupied East Jerusalem, and I will explain all this to you guys step by step. 8 years ago, I just want to show you the proof of what I'm talking about. Okay, so lacks permit, so even if they demolish this building, I will put up a tent, stay here. That's the Palestinian, saying I will not, give the Israeli settlers trying to take over the Palestinian land. Okay, even if they demolish this building, I will put up a tent and stay here. I am not better than any of the people living in refugee camps. I will become exactly like them. Boulder told you, while the building removal was put off, the demolition order remains in force. Under the new right wing Israeli government sworn in late last year, Israeli officials have been fast tracking the demolition of Israeli designated the illegal Palestinian home in occupied East Jerusalem, including in the neighborhood of hoods of Silwan, Jabal al Mukbar. Okay, and now let's get back to where we left off. Okay, the demolition right here. Okay, and a practice which Israel continues to implement against the Palestinians today. Okay? And the second phase of the revolt began 1937. Okay? And it goes on, the second half goes on to 1939. The British had massed 30,000 troops in Palestine. Villages were bombed by air, curfews imposed, homes demolished, administrative detentions, summary killings. In tandem, the British collaborated with the Jewish settlers community and formed an army group. And to prove it to you guys right here, Palestine's 1936 Great Revolt revisited right here. And where I wanted to go on from is as in 1936, Western powers certainly Britain still support the Israeli state despite some lip service to Palestinian rights. And between then and now, Palestinian reliance on Arab officials' assistance has proved unreliable, conditional, and occasionally counterproductive. Okay? And that is, it's been just happening. Like, look at this. In 1939, British had massed 30,000 troops in Palestine to repress the revolt, a policy of collective punishment. Does that remind you anything? Does that, like, isn't that the same thing that's going on right now? Collective punishment. Oh, Hamas attacked. Now we must bomb Gaza. Oh, what about the babies? Collective punishment. Hey, it's Hamas. It's Hamas' problem. Collective punishment. Okay? Villages were bombed by air. No wonder. You know what I'm saying? No wonder. So, and I want to give you this. Crush the Revolt, 1939 included 21 Jewish members. So that was the settlers. It's called the Science Enterprise. So to crush the revolt while aiding the science enterprise, the British collaborated with the settler community and formed the Jewish settlement police, which by 1939 included 21,000 Jewish members. Okay? They also created a British-led counter-insurgency force of Jewish militant named Special Night Squads. And those are kind of similar today. They call themselves, like the settlers. They armed themselves, and I'm saying, they do the same thing these guys used to do at night, harass the Palestinians who are already, what I'm saying, like, fucked. Who are already, what I'm saying, like, damn. But let's continue, okay? Let's continue. And that was how you know what I'm saying, the British collaborated with the Jewish settlers, okay? And when they formed armed groups. I just show you guys that. And to continue, right here, in those 3 years of the revolt, 5,000 Palestinians were killed, 15,000 to 20,000 wounded. We don't even think about what's wounded today as we speak, 2023. But 5,000 were killed, 15,000 to 20,000 were wounded, okay? 5,600 were in prison, okay? And that was around 1939, okay? So now, by 1946, okay, we came from 1920 to 1946, and over here shows, okay, what we just read, all the shit that we just read, how, to recap, how their declaration, you know what I'm saying, 1917, the British Foreign Secretary, if you join it right now, the British Foreign Secretary, Arthur, February 2nd in 1917, wrote a letter addressing Lionel, which was British Jewish community figurehead, okay? And the letter was stating that the establishment in Palestine of a national home for Jewish people, and to make it happen, okay? And since then, they were trying to make it happen. And as you can see at this graph, since by 1946, right here, it was going up. It was around 1946. It was, let's see, an estimated 376,415 Jewish immigrants, mostly from Europe, arrived in Palestine between 1920 and 1946, according to the British records. So if you want to, you know what I'm saying, if you want to fact check, please check the British records, okay? Check the British records, mate. Okay, mate. And continuing on. And this is where the modern people, this is where y'all come in. Not even this is where y'all come in, but this is where a lot of people come in. So, the United Nations partition plan. A lot of people know about this part. So, by 1947, the Jewish population had, you know what I'm saying, reached around 33% of Palestine, okay? And remember, it used to be 90% Palestinians before the 1920s, okay? By 1947, it was 33% Jewish and, you know what I'm saying, the rest Palestinian. So, and only 6% of the, but they owned only 6% of the land, okay? And the United Nations adopted, here's where things get interesting. United Nations adopted Resolution 181, which called for partition of Palestinian into Arab and Jewish state. So they wanted to divide the Palestine country into two different states. One would be called Palestine Arab state, and the other one will be called Jewish state. Okay? But the Palestinians rejected the plan because it alluded about 55% of Palestine to the Jewish state, including most of fertile coastal region, okay, at that time, Palestinians owned 94% of historic Palestine. So do you see? They were trying to tell them, hey, it's like coming to America and saying, you know what? We're going to divide America in half. You know what I'm saying? We're going to divide in America in half. And, you know what I'm saying? Half of you guys, America, half of you guys will be called America. And half of it will be called the Jewish state. You know what I'm saying? But you know, 94% or 100% before that, it was America, okay? And, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's see. So, from the partition plan, following the end of World War II. I slow it down this time. You feel me? You feel me? Because some of these words is really hard, you know what I'm saying? You know, to say it. But anyways, about, you know what I'm saying, the newly formed United Nations proposed a plan that would grant 55% of historic Palestine to Jewish state. So regardless of what Palestinians has to say about their land, you know what I'm saying, the United Nations went ahead and continued with their plan and gave 55%, you know what I'm saying, of the historic Palestine to the Jewish state, 44% to the non-contiguous Arabs. Okay? And the plan was never implemented on the ground, by the way. Okay? So, as you can see in this map, the blue is the Jewish state, 55%. You see, the green is Palestine, but that yellow is Jerusalem. It's under international control. International control. Have you ever wondered why? Ask yourself, why? You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Like, it kind of, have you ever heard follow the, okay, you get it. Follow the, let me know in the chat, man. It's all about, you know what I'm saying, following that, you know what I'm saying. But anyways, we're going to continue. So, 1948, the Nakba happens, which you will hear a lot, okay? You will hear that a lot. So the Nakba, or the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians, okay? Even before the British mandate expired on May 14, 1948, Zionist paramilitaries were already embarking on military operation to destroy Palestinian town and villages, to expand the borders of Zionist state that was to be born, and it wasn't even born. So Israel didn't even born. And I asked you earlier to keep that word in mind, and I please ask you again to not forget it. Keep that word in mind. If you already know, you're ahead of us, okay? So let's continue. In 1948, more than 100 Palestinian men, women, children were killed in the village of Deir Yassin on outskirts of Jerusalem. Okay? That set off tone for the rest of the operations, and from 1947 to 1949, more than 500 Palestinian villages, towns, cities were destroyed in what Palestinians referred to as Nakba, also known as the catastrophe. You see how hard these motherfucking words are to me? There you go. There you go. So, in Arabic though, okay? So, that's one. When you hear Nakba, it means catastrophe. Catastrophe. That's what it means. Disaster. It's like unimaginable, unthinkable. Okay? That's what it means in Arabic. So next time you hear Nakba, yep. And we're going to go ahead and click this to get a little bit of insight. You know what I'm saying? So Nakba right here. What happened in Palestine in 1948? The Nakba. Okay? This year marks 74 years of, you know what I'm saying, Nakba, or the Palestine experience of possessions on loss of their own homeland. Look at this. Look at this. The Nakba. You see all this red. Yup. Mapping Palestinian villages destroyed by Israel in 1948. I wasn't born. Likely you were not fucking born unless you are alien. Even our parents didn't even fucking born, more likely. Nah, they were born. But yeah. So on May 15, the Palestinian around the world mark. So on the catastrophe, referring to the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian in 1948, having secured the support of a British government for creation of Jewish state in Palestine on May 14, 1948. As soon as the British mandate expired, Zionist forces declare the establishment of the state of Israel. Let me say that again. Having to secure the support of the British government for creation of the Jewish state in Palestine on May 14, 1948, as soon as the British mandate expired. And the mandate, which was to establish, to establish a land. You know what I'm saying? To make it happen and establish. I fucking forgot like exact word, but to basically give and create a Jewish national home in the land of Palestine, which was 90% Palestinians. Okay? So when the British government mandate, when the Palestinians refused the mandate, you know what they did? We already talked about it. You know what I'm saying? Bombed, airstrikes. Okay? So when that mandate ended in 1948, all of a sudden we have a new government. And a new government called Israel. You know what I'm saying? The Zionist forces declare the establishment of the state of Israel. This is a fact, triggering the first Arab-Israel war. And this is, you guys hear this a lot. If you're in the West, you definitely heard about this a lot. Definitely. You definitely heard about this a lot. And you will definitely hear sometimes they spin it. You know what I'm saying? They say Israel beat. And there's some truth to it. You know that. Why is my shit lagging? Why is YouTube, you know what I'm saying? YouTube is attacking me, bro. I could not, I can't even. Let me see. Let me see, chat. Let me see why my shit lagging, man. Let me see. Alright. But anyways, chat. Where was I at? Where was I? So basically, I was trying to show you guys the Nakba, right? The ethnic cleansing. And it was right here. And that's where, you know what I'm saying, we left at how the Israeli state was formed. And it was triggered. It triggered, you know what I'm saying, the Israel and Arab war. So, and I want to show you a little bit, but let me see. Right here. My bad, chat. So it's not this. Right here. Actually, let's go. I didn't reach that far. I was so there was, so when it was created, let's see. So an estimated of 1,500 Palestinians were killed during, you know what I'm saying, dozens of massacres. So the Zionist movement, 78% of historic Palestine, remaining 22% was divided into what now. So actually I want to go back right here. So we are getting closer. So the ethnic cleansing, okay? When I show you guys about when Nakba happened, okay? And the military right here, there was a war, like that's where I left that. So after, I think that was after Nakba or before. So let's just start from here. So after 1948, 100 Palestinian, like I think that part we already read. So the science movement, basically when Israel was created, you know what I'm saying, and the Nakba, and basically kick, you know what? Let's just freaking go through this little bit, okay? Basically, this is exactly where we left. My bad, chat. All these fucking ads. But this is basically where we left, okay? When the Jewish state was formed on 1948, the Arab and Israel war started, okay? And the Zionist military forces expelled at least 750,000 Palestinians from their homes. Do you know what that means? Like 750,000, 750K people expelled, kicked out from their homes. You know what I'm saying? And captured 78% of historic Palestine. Remember, 90% was, 90% of Palestine was Palestinians. Okay? The remaining 22% was divided into what now? So when they attacked and kicked 750 people out and killed a lot of people, that's what's called Nakba, the catastrophe. Okay? They kicked 700 Israel forces, kicked 700 military forces, kicked 750,000 Palestinians from their homes and lands and captured 78% of historic Palestine. The remaining 22% was divided into what now occupied what are now the occupied West and the besieged Gaza Strip. And I will show you a picture right here. So I want you guys to take a look at this. It's shocking to me, okay? It's really shocking to me. A lot of people basically don't really know. But look, in 1917, a lot of you guys are looking the truth. The truth is right in front of you, and you will still deny the truth. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that crazy? A lot of you guys who I respect as a human being, like, you will deny the truth that you have like no clue about, that you deny to research. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying some people. I'm not saying particularly you sitting right here, but some people will deny that this right here, all this is the truth. Why would somebody create this? You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I just show you, and I have a video to back it up as well. You know? So we gotta like hurry up real quick. So what is Nakba? I already explained. So every year on May 15, the Palestinians around the world mark the Nakba, the catastrophe, referring to the ethnic cleansing of the Palestine in 1948. Okay, so 1917, the green, all Palestine, all 90% Palestinians, 90% Palestinians. You see these blue dots right here? Those, it's the Jewish control. Do you see this? Blue, Jewish control. Those were Jewish control. All of them, right here, Palestinians living with next to each other, with peace to the Jewish people until the British. Okay, so and 1948. Look, what the fuck? It's green and blue. It's totally like almost completely different. Look, the British mandate. British mandate Palestine. British mandate Palestine. Say that shit. You'd be like, that shit is hard to fucking say. British mandate Palestine. And then, right here, 1948, guess what? 750,000 Palestinians kicked out, forced out. You know what I'm saying? Forced out, just like black people. Forced out from their homes, expelled, kicked out, like ethnic cleansing. Basically, this is your home. I'm taking it. What you gonna do about it? Basically, nothing.
Nope.
And your people ain't gonna do shit.
Nope.
Basically, that was what was happening. Because they had, you know what I'm saying? They know somebody was backing them up. Back then, it was not the United States. Back then, it was the British. It was the original white people. It was the original kings. Before the Americans were like, you know what? Fuck these nerds, man. We need our own America. Big ol'. You feel me? So, in 1967, under Israeli occupation, look at this. It was first Palestine. And then 1947, half of it. How is this not invasion? How is this not, like, they can live. There's nothing wrong with Jewish people living. You know what I'm saying? They're from Palestine. You know what I'm saying? They're from Palestine. And we can even say But I don't know how, you know what I'm saying? You can even give them their own states right here. But how do you explain this, ladies and gentlemen? If you use your brain and if you just put, you know what I'm saying, like who you siding aside. You know what I'm saying? Like just give a fair shot. Be the judge. If you were a judge and you were like these human beings who were being fighting at this place, as long as we remember, more than 100 years, all these human beings chose me to give me all this responsibility to actually choose and make a peace happen. You should be able to think and be fair, right? And you be like, okay, how's this, you know what I'm saying? Like, these people, this is their land. God gave this land to these people. And also, God gave the Jewish people to this land as well on these areas. But I don't know if God gave the Jewish people to all of this, how God doesn't just turn green to blue all of a sudden. Like, what? No, God loves peace. Okay? And then you're like, if that was not enough, in 1948, look at 1967. It's like they want to fucking, holy shit, look at this. So under Israeli occupation. So first it was like living in peace together. And then, hey, fuck this shit. Israel owns majority of this Palestine land. Cool. And then you guys will be divided 2 parts. Right there. Gaza and West Bank. Gaza and West Bank. Okay. And then right here, 1967, they were like, fuck that shit. It's all gonna be Israeli occupation. Fuck this shit. They're like, we own the whole Palestine land. And then, since 1995 to present, look at this. As if the 1967 was not enough. What? As if 1967 was not enough. Ladies and gentlemen, they moved and said, you know what? 1995, the world sides with them and says, you know what? We're going to divide whatever that's remaining into 3 parts. And then some chunk of it, the international community is going to take it. As if this part is up for grabs. As if this part is discovered in Mars or some shit. Like, this shit is crazy to me. Look. And so when the war happened, and you know what I'm saying, Arabs were like, what the fuck? There's no way. So Israel, you know what I'm saying? There were fight between Israel and Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, Syria. You know what I'm saying? And then there was a armistice or whatever. There was an agreement between these nations, Israel and Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria. Okay? And 1949, which is also known the Green Line, is the general recognized boundary between Israel and the West Bank. Are you fucking kidding me? So they don't even call Palestine anymore. As you can see right here, in 1949, which also known the Green Line, is the general recognized boundary, aka the border, as if Gaza and then the rest is 2 different countries. Like, no, bitch. Bro, it's like, a good example would be like if you live in the United States. It's if they divided, you know what I'm saying, is as if they just give Florida. They said Florida, there will be the Green Line is going to be recognized, the boundary between Israel, which is going to be aka the United States, and Florida, the West Bank. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And then the Green Line also referred to as pre-1967 border before Israel occupied the rest of Palestine during June 1967 war. This shit hilarious to me. Israel's military occupation of Palestine remains of the core of this decades-long conflict, continues to shape every part of the Palestinians' lives. Okay, here's the mapping the Palestinian villages Israel destroyed between 1947 to 1949. Zionist military forced attacked major Palestinian cities, destroyed some 350 villages. 530 villages. I don't know where I get the 350, but 530 villages, 530 villages. About 1,500 Palestinians were killed in a series of mass atrocities, including dozens of massacres. Unbelievable. On April 9th, 1948, Zionist forces committed one of the most infamous massacres of the war in the village of Deir Yassin, on western outskirts of Jerusalem, which we touched a little bit earlier, okay? And here is the villages that were destroyed, in case you say, what are you talking about, okay? Palestinian villages destroyed by Israel. Look, between 1947 and 1949, Zionist military, still keep that word in mind, Zionist, between 1948, Zionist military forces destroyed at least 530 villages, okay? And right here, look, all the red before they were making space, you know what I'm saying, for the Jewish people to move in. Do you notice history repeating itself? Do you notice the destructions that's happening to Gaza? They're making space. You know what I'm saying? It's ethnic cleansing. Make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm being honest. I'm calling it what it is. I have no side. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm for humanity. I'm for peace. Okay? And this war will definitely affect every human being on this fucking planet. Either you ignore it, or you don't want to watch the news, or you want to pretend like you in a la la land. You're not. You on this fucking planet where on the other side there's fucking war going on. There's human beings dying. There's babies dying. Do you think that spirit is gonna just, you know what I'm saying, like roll around this fucking planet, just disappear? You're a human being. We're all connected. We're all connected, okay? And one day, man, I don't know if we're gonna be complacent, if we're gonna be asked. You know what I'm saying? One day if we die, what if the spirit of those babies just come to our graves? I'll be terrified and say, how come you didn't do nothing? I'll be fucking terrified, bro. Like those babies that were, you know what I'm saying, like when they cut electricity from those newborn babies that needed oxygen. How do you explain that? I hope God forgives me. I hope most people would say I have nothing to do with it. But hey, somehow, some way, you have something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Somehow, some way, maybe your taxes is being used. Maybe you're being complacent by looking the other way. You're like, oh, it was Hamas who attacked it. Like, oh, they saying terrorists. They must be terrorists. Like, oh, I don't wanna be called anti-Semitic. So I'm gonna go with the easy route and just, you know what I'm saying? And just either don't say anything. I couldn't be you guys. I could not. I have a heart. I'm a conscious human being. You know, and it's like enough is enough. Like the hurt, the pain of this in humanity all over the world. It's just unbelievable, guys. Like, when will we get a break? We just came from, you know what I'm saying? I can't even say the word from those 3 years. Can you believe that? In America, the land of the free, we can't even fucking say that word. Are you fucking kidding me? All right, man. Let me look at the chat real quick, man. You know what I'm saying? MJ says those are not the Jews from the Bible. How? And he goes on to say, how can some Europeans give some other Europeans land over there? Oh, that's a valid question. That's a valid question. But to be honest, though, they were, to correct you a little bit, they were European, but they were also Jewish, half Jewish, European Jewish, okay? So, like, there, some of them, I'm guessing, some of them were living there. So, Jewish people, we are not, like, nobody's denying that Jewish people were living in Palestine. You know what I'm saying? They were living in Palestine. Some are from Palestine. Okay? It's a holy land. Okay? Christians. And let me tell you one thing. Palestinians have Christians. Palestinians have Jewish. Palestinians have Muslim. Even though majority Palestinians are Muslim, there's also all type of religion in Palestine. Okay? That's why they have, you know what I'm saying, it's a holy land for all religions. And I will show you a little bit of that when we go, you know what I'm saying, like scroll down. So, around 15,000 people were killed. We are still on Nakba. I appreciate you, MJ. Thank you, man. But I hope I answered, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to you, man. But I think that's, you have a valid question, but you know, some of it, like, I think they were Jewish, so, like half Jewish. So that's where they came in from. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like they just wanted, in my opinion, they just wanted, you know, a way, like, that was just a way to get in and manipulate, you know what I'm saying, the Arab world. So, but it was like 15,000 people died in the Nakba, and 750,000 people were forcefully displaced. And in May 14, 1948, the day British mandate expired, Zionists declared the state of Israel to be born. Never forget that, okay? And I will still explain what the science is. And so let's get back to where I left from here, and we are almost there. Okay, I know this has been a lot. So and 6 days so after the Nakba, okay, 1960, so years after Nakba, okay, that the catastrophe, at least 150,000 Palestinians remained in newly created state of Israel, okay, after they kicked out 750,000 Palestinians, you know what I'm saying, forcefully displaced. So there was about 150,000 Palestinians remained in what newly created state of Israel and lived under tightly controlled military occupation for almost 20 years before they were eventually granted Israeli citizenship. Like, it's crazy. It's mind-boggling. Like, I cannot believe this, okay? So, Egypt took over Gaza Strip. And in 1950, Jordan began its administrative rule over West Bank. So, remember, they divided West Bank basically right here and right here. It's crazy. The whole Palestine was divided. And you know what I'm saying? Like, now, even Gaza is in jeopardy. Even West Bank is in jeopardy. They don't want any Palestinians in their land, basically. They don't want any Palestinians in their land. How do you explain that, ladies and gentlemen? I don't fucking know. Like, all I know is
New World Order.
But let's continue, okay? And by 1964, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO, was formed. And a year later, the Fatah political party was established. Okay? Al-Fatah, the Fatah, okay? Keep that in mind, Fatah. And so the Naksa, or the 6-day war in the settlements, that's the Israel versus, you know what I'm saying, those 6 other Arab countries that were basically like mad when Israel declared, hey, all of a sudden where Palestine used to be, guess what? There's a new country called Israel. Newsflash. And we kicking all Palestinians out. Arabs were not having it. So because of that, there was a war. And then after the war, there was a settlement. And on June 5th, 1967, Israel occupied the rest of historic Palestine. It's like nothing is enough for these motherfuckers. Like, nothing is enough. You took the rest of, you took the majority, including, okay, occupied the rest of the historic Palestine, including Gaza Strip, the West Bank, East Jerusalem, the Syrian Golden Heights. Are you fucking kidding me? They still got the Golden Heights, bro. They still got the audacity to keep that gold. Bro, let's continue. And Sinai Peninsula during the 6-day war against the coalition of Arab arms. Okay? For some Palestinians, this led to a second forced displacement, or Naksa, which means setback in Arabic. Okay? In December 1967, Marxist, Leninist, Popular Front of Liberation of Palestine was formed. Over the next decade, a series of attacks, plane hijacks, leftist group drew the world's attention, okay, to the Palestinians. This is where the West comes in. Settlements construction began in occupied West Bank and Gaza Strip. Okay? A two-tier system was created, and Jewish settlers afforded all the rights and privileges of being Israeli citizens, where Palestinians had to live under a military occupation that discriminated against them and paired any form of political or specific expression. Like you cannot even fucking talk, you bitch. Like we slave you, basically. How else can you explain that? Like there's no civic expression. You cannot fucking protest or we shoot you dead. That's what's been happening in Palestine. Okay? And the settlement, like if that was not enough, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. They just keep settling. You know, like this word speaks for itself. Settlements. Like you settle. Like you settle down. Like you fucking move in. Like this is like the audacity to moving in something like a land that's not even yours. And like you kicking and hurting and like killing the babies. Like I don't understand. Sometimes I'm like, how can this be the same people that say they went through what they say they went through? I'm like, if that was my people and my people went through some shit like that, there's no fucking way while I'm alive at least they would do some shit like that. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, at least I know what it feels like, you know? Why the fuck would I do some shit like that? But god damn, bro, I will never understand this Zionism, man. I will talk to you about that in a little bit, but let me finish up. So the settlements, guys, are, some of you guys might not know. So what are the settlements? Okay, even though the word speaks for itself, but what are the settlements? And settlements are Jewish communities built on Palestinian land, which is illegal. Okay, there are between 600 to 750,000 Israeli settlers. I have a question for you guys. If you were paying attention, do you remember there were about 750,000 Palestinians that were kicked out during the Nakba? I can remind you, it's okay. We'll just go back real quick. It's not that far, okay? It's not that far. Should it be right here? Right here. An estimated 750,000 Palestinians were forced out of their homes, right? Guess what? Guess what, guys? Settlements, there were about 750,000 Israeli settlers, meaning Jewish community, about the same amount of the Palestinians who were kicked out. They just moved same amount but Jewish people into the area that they kicked out from the Palestinian people. Oh my God, bro. This is different type of evil that Americans have no clue about, okay? And the world have no clue about. I swear to God. Like, how anybody with a little bit of a brain who can think, who can search, you know what I'm saying, who can read, obviously, you know what I'm saying, can see these facts. But the mainstream media makes you believe like, oh, all Palestinians are Hamas. Like, no, that's not true. It's like totally not true. So, and they're living around, you know what I'm saying, like in at least 250 settlements in occupied West Bank. And that is like, right, like, look, West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Israeli settlements are illegal under international law. But guess what? The world just like, oh, nothing to see here. Oops. Don't look here, guys. Look the other way. Oh, who farted there? What? What happened there? What? What is a woman? You know what? You know, like, you can change your fucking sex. Or like, what? You know what? It's like, just divide always. Oh, that's a Muslim right there. Oh, Jewish. Oh, The walk map. Anyways, I cannot believe this shit. And now they can't even get a little bit of their home. And now I don't even know how we actually gonna go back. I don't know how we're gonna go back from here. But anyways, let me finish this up. So the Palestinian, so there was a group that was informed right here when all these settlements happened, when Palestinians realized that this is like, hey, this is ethnic cleansing, this is genocide. The first Palestinian Antifada, I'm saying that wrong. Antifada erupted in Gaza Strip in December 1987 after 4 Palestinians were killed when Israeli truck collided with 2 vans carrying Palestinian workers. Okay, protests spread rapidly to the West Bank, with young Palestinians throwing stones at Israeli army tanks and soldiers. And this is a picture that you guys see all the time, and I will show you. You will definitely, this is a picture that you guys definitely see all the time in the, like, you know what I'm saying, CNN or fake MSNBC. You know what I'm saying? Or the BBC, matter of fact. I'm not talking about the, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about what I got, like you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about like the British, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you get the joke. But anyways, like, you get it. Like, you get what I'm saying. I have to finish this shit out. But that's, you guys get the picture, okay? And it also led to establishment of Hamas. This is where Hamas comes in. You guys be like, what is Hamas? Hamas is a resistant army group. And here is, it also led to, so after, you know what I'm saying, like, tanks and Palestinians were just being, they had enough, okay? Until 1993, okay? After that, it led to establishment of the Hamas movement. It was a group. It's a young group who were born, and their families, their parents were killed. All their parents killed, okay? And they grew up in Palestine. Can you imagine, with all of the things that we just talked about? 750, like, whole of your family, some of your family kicked out, the ones that were survived, the rest killed, okay? And these were the ones that, you know what I'm saying, started this movement. So an offshoot of Muslim Brotherhood that engaged in armed resistance against the Israeli occupation. Okay, the Israeli army's heavy-handed response was encapsulated by break. This is even crazy story. This is crazy story, chat. Like, let me read a little bit of this. Let me read a little bit of this. Let me read a little bit of this that really shocked me. Okay? Like, it really shocked me. They said, at first, look, there's breaking news. But at first, one of the soldiers took off his military hard hat and started pounding it on my head until I fell to the ground. He then proceeded to beat me uncontrollably. Okay? Well said that. And he continues on to say, then he lifted me up and shoved his helmet towards my face and shouted out, what was written on it? He recalled. And then he continues, he says, I was born to kill Palestinians. That was what was written on the helmet. I was born to kill Palestinians. The soldier screamed at Wall. One of them twisted He said one of them twisted my arm against my back, while another started pounding my wrist with a stone, attempting to break my hand completely, he said. Meanwhile, Osama was attempting to escape, but was immediately dragged down by 3 Israeli soldiers and beat on the ground. They were beating us with every ounce of their energy. They were not only wanted to break our bones, to inflict physical pain on us, they also wanted to humiliate us and shatter our spirit, he said. Oh my God. The stones of the Palestine were merciful, he recalled. That's why we survived. Again, it's their land. The land recognized the Palestinian people. The trees in Palestine recognize the Palestinians in Palestine. Like, this is common sense. Where you from, your roots, okay? Like the place knows you. Like let's be honest. Let's be honest, man. But let me finish up. So, let me finish up. And so after that, we were right here. The break their bones policy advocated by then defense minister, okay, and it included summary killings, enclosures, universities, deportations, and activism, and destruction of homes, and to go on. So there was the Oslo years and the Palestinian Authority, okay, and then it goes on, and you can see they divided in Oslo the so-called the peace agreement. They tried to divide Palestine, like not Palestine, but in Gaza in 1995 as part of the Oslo Accords. The occupied West Bank was divided into 3 fucking parts. Are you fucking kidding me? These people are not thinking clear. So the occupied, as if fucking bro, I cannot believe this. So was divided into 3 areas: A, B, C. A, 18% under Palestinian control right here, and area B, 22% under Israeli and Palestinian control. Under C, 60% under Israeli control. It's like they just want basically all of it. Why don't you just, they were just trying to make no mistake. This is ethnic cleansing, okay? Anyways, they would just keep on trying to fight. Like Palestinians would keep trying to fight for their freedom. You know what I'm saying? Against colonialism, okay? The settlers are illegal under the international law, but over 3 years, hundreds of thousands of Jewish settlers have moved into colonies built on stolen Palestinian land. The space for Palestinians is shrinking as settlers only roads and infrastructures slice up occupied West Bank, forcing Palestinian cities and towns into, you got it, and also isolating and caving, you know what I'm saying, to the Black Sea, to South, caving for black South Africans that the country's former apartheid regime created at the time. Also occurred were assigned just over 110,000 Jewish settlers lived in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. Today, the figure is more than 700,000 people living, and more than 100 or 390 square miles of land exploited. Man, this is exploitation at its finest. And this is the mosque the Holy Land. Okay, I cannot explain this the short time that I have, but this is something that you guys need to actually look into. Every time there's problems here, I just want to show you a little bit of the Holy Land, where everybody shares. So you see this part right here? You see it right here? It says Muslim quarter. And over here, Christian quarter. Armenian quarter. Jewish quarter. I almost said America. No. America is not included. You guys are not included unless you want to be, you know what I'm saying, the colonies, like, you know what I'm saying, like. And they were under the British, anyways. But, and you guys see it right here, West Jerusalem, East Jerusalem. This is a holy, very, very, you know what I'm saying, like, blessed land. Like, look at this. It's so beautiful. Al-Qibla Mosque, Dome of the Rock. This should be a peaceful area, if anything, because we all share this area. Like, Israel shouldn't be bombing this area, because this was existing for like how many years? Like they survived thousands of years of, you know what I'm saying, whatever came at them. And now there's airstrikes. You guys want to use chemical weapons? Oh my God. The ethnic cleansing in 2023? Genocide is happening in 2023? Almost 2024? What the fuck? But anyways, the Palestinian division and the Gaza blockade, their leaders were, you know what I'm saying, had a disagreement how to, you know what I'm saying, rule their people. So Hamas were like, you know what I'm saying, they want to, like, these were young men who were like, remember, their parents killed. Some of their parents, the 750 people were expelled from Palestine. So the little bit of the ones that were remain in Palestine, I would say actually they call it Gaza. They don't even call it Palestine. In Gaza or West Bank, that's where they will, you know what I'm saying, that's how they will name you. And those are the ones who are fighting. They're like less than 10,000, I believe, soldiers. They're not as capable as the Israelis. There's no way. Israel has top 10 military in the world. The United States sells arms to the, you know what I'm saying, to, like, I'm not, you already know, I'm not going to tell you about that part. But Hamas also won a major election, okay? A year later, Palestinians voted in general election for the first time. Hamas won the majority. However, Al-Fatah and Hamas civil war broke out, lasting for months. You know what I'm saying? Causing devastation. And Hamas expelled Fatah from Gaza, basically winning that war. And the main party of the Palestinian Authority resumed control of parts of the West Bank. Okay? So Fatah got West Bank. Hamas, they got Gaza. So two different, you know what I'm saying, arms resistance groups. This is not even a military group. This is armed resistance. This is people fighting for their self-determination. It's just like those Americans, the founding fathers who were actually, you know what I'm saying, fighting the British from their freedom and constitutional rights. Okay, same thing that they were doing. You know what I'm saying? Do Hamas do some like crazy shit, like bomb some other stuff, like do crazy? Of course. But you know what I'm saying? Did also the United States and the West label Nelson Mandela, the former South African president, a terrorist? Yes. Did the United States help South Africa? Or back then, the colonizers who were in South Africa find Nelson Mandela and put him in jail? Yes. Did they put him the terrorist list? Yes. Did they take him off later on? Yes. Same shit. Same shit in Pakistan or in Afghanistan, or when they don't like you, they label you. Oh, he's a terrorist. Look, black man. Same thing they do. Okay? And I was in here. In June 2007, Israel imposed land, air, and naval blockade on Gaza Strip, accusing Hamas terrorism. That's it. Just because of that accusation is enough for the land, air, naval blockade, which means every calories, fuck, my camera died, but every calories of the Palestinians consume is dictated by the fucking by Israel, since they, you know what I'm saying? So it's just outrageous to me, man. This is crazy to me. Like, how can anybody see this shit and say, oh, this is not genocide, this is not ethnic cleansing? Like, how can anybody in their right mind say anything like that? I cannot understand. But anyways, let me finish up. So the besiege, you always hear the besiege Gaza Strip. This is what's happening. Look at this. Okay, before I complete this, look at this. The besiege. So the Palestine enclave. So home to some 2.3. I guess now is way less than 2.3. The ethnic cleansing is, is succeeding, unfortunately, because now, the population is way less than 2.3. You know what I'm saying? The bombing worked, killing the babies worked, because then you wipe next generation out just by killing the newborn babies, just by bombing hospitals, bombing, you know what I'm saying, when ambulances try to save the little babies that you just bombed. Make sure you fucking bomb the ambulances, and make sure you tell people, hey, I'm about to bomb the hospital right now. Make sure you get the fuck out of there and go to the east, go to the south side. And when you come out, I'm just bomb them when they come out right there. While they try to run to cover, just bomb them. Regardless if they're mom, if they're fucking old lady, if they're kid, if they're anything that move, just, you already know. You know what I'm saying? Highly sophisticated weapon made in the United States of America, the greatest country in the world, who got the greatest military in the world. You know what I'm saying? And with unlimited bombs, unlimited, you know what I'm saying, weapons. And look at this. I wonder who trained. They know exactly what the fuck they're doing. So this is like the ocean. So look, this is in fucking humane. They will tell you this is your fishing limit. As if they're a god. Are you kidding me? So I'm not allowed. If this is Gaza, by the way. Okay? If you're this is Gaza, okay? So if you're in Gaza City right here, and you're a Palestinian, and you try to, you know what I'm saying, go for fishing, you're not fucking allowed to pass right here. If you do, you are fucking dead. Unbelievable. And then you try to come this other way. Hey, guess what? It's prohibited zone. No fucking way. And there's Egypt right there. And then you try to get the fuck out of there, the whole place, because you find out that you cannot even get the fuck out of here. There's prohibited. You cannot. Oh, right here? No, there's crossing military right here. You cannot. Oh, all of this, by the way, fucking is surrounded by heavily fortified perimeter. Okay, highly sophisticated, made in the United States of America. So, you try to get the fuck out of the, the whole fucking gossip place, right? You go to the airport, you find out, oh, it was destroyed. Gaza airport was destroyed by Israel in 2001. Holy shit. So that means I'm fucking trapped. So if Israel just tries to fucking bam, all of a sudden, like bomb, and just try to fucking like do a chemical fucking weapon, just like I'm done, that's it. Because you cannot swim, like nowhere, like you cannot, like there's nowhere to go. Israel controls territory, water, and airspace. There's bombs, like where the fuck are you gonna go? So that is what is going on in Gaza. None of you niggas, none of you people can survive in this area, not in fucking a day. Not a day. You're in America and you have no clue. No clue. And some of you guys are like, oh, well, I don't want them to just call me anti-Semite like Kanye. At least the Kanye can say, yeah, he can say like he's crazy. But I can't. I'm fucked. They gonna fucking fire me this paycheck to paycheck shit. Where the fuck am I gonna go? Valid question. I'm not, I get it. I get it. That's why a lot of people are just feeling fucking hopeless, okay? But that's kind of the background, okay? So the war on Gaza Strip, Israel has launched 4 protracted military assaults on Gaza in 2008, 2012, 2014, and 2021. Thousands, even isn't 2021 during the pandemic? Really? They were assaulting those people? Really? Okay. And then thousands of Palestinians, okay? Thousands of Palestinians. Right here, we're almost done. So thousands of Palestinians. Where was I at? So right here, thousands. 2001, thousands of Palestinians have been killed, including many children, and thousands of homes, schools, office buildings have been destroyed. Rebuilding has been next to fucking possible. You know why? Because the besieged prevents construction materials such as steel, cement from reaching into Gaza. How the fuck can you reach anything from here? This place is definitely cut off. There's nothing. They know every single shit that goes in, every single shit that comes out. They know every little calorie, you know what I'm saying, a Palestinian will consume that day. Inhumane, and the rest of the world are just oh, democracy. Look at the world. It's making progress. Democracy. Oh, equality. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, they fucking saying that from a phone made by a slave living in Africa. But hey, look at the other way. You know what I'm saying? Innovation. Don't you want to upgrade to your iPhone 15? Oh, in a couple months, you're about to get iPhone 16. Hey, man. All right. So during the assault called Operation Protective Edge by Israelis, about 11,000 Palestinians were wounded. 20,000 homes were destroyed. So each time they try to, you know what I'm saying, start assault, they just, destroy a little bit, ethnic cleansing, a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? There was so many people. Now, just little bit, there's little bit of people left. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to kick those people out. Holy shit. Gaza in 16 years living under blockade. 16 years. Can you believe living under blockade from Israel, land, air, sea blockade? has trapped more than 2 million people inside Gaza Strip since 2007. No portion of Gaza's society or economy has been left unfucking touched. You know what that means? Population 2.3. Bro, look at this. Like, look at this. So they started this 2008, 23 days. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of people dead. Second assault, 2012. It lasted 8 days. Third, 2014, 50 days. That was the most. And then, obviously, this one is ongoing, so we don't know. It could pass 50 days. By the way, it's like the whole world about to head that World War III. Because, holy shit, I don't know how you go back from here. How can we find a peace from here, ladies and gentlemen? So, and now, this is the latest. This is where we at. And this is where, look how they divided this. Remember back then, it was a little bit even, let me show you this. It was a little bit, at least there was a little bit more land. Look, a little bit more land, right? Look at the end of the day, look where we're going to live at it. So, it's divided by North Gaza, Gaza City, Deir al-Bala, and Khan Yunis, Rafah. That's it. The whole fucking look. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is insane. And the rest, they want to tell me it's, you know what I'm saying, Israel were there. And if you Google, you know what I'm saying? Because, by the way, you won't be able to find this information on Google. You know what I'm saying? Like, you won't be able to. So don't even bother. But I will definitely, hopefully, they're not even putting this shit down. Okay? I hope they don't. Like, if you're, like, watching this, or if you've seen this video, like, you're one of the lucky ones. Like, I really appreciate you, because I cannot believe it. Like, the way they've been suppressing me, unfucking believable. Like, unheard of. You cannot say this is democracy, okay? And you can see, it's like, but it's another day. We'll talk more, okay? But I wanted to show you a video, but I'm gonna link to it since my actually, let me know if you guys wanna watch this video. But first, let me read the comment for those of you who are patiently waiting. I really appreciate you guys if you join in. So MJ continues on to say, I cannot even, did you did that on purpose? God damn. He says, in Deuteronomy, bro, what the where it says, if you don't obey these laws and comments, you will go into ban by ship. I don't recall those people going into slavery by ships. I don't know what you're referring to, bro. You lost me there. I don't know what you're saying, bro. Like, are you referring to the what? He's saying if these laws and comments, you will go into ban by ship. I don't recall those people going into slavery by ships. Bro, I don't give a fuck if you don't obey these laws. I don't give a, bro. There's a reason why, like, this channel was started. Like, I knew there is a possibility of these motherfuckers labeling me and try to either kill me or, you know what I'm saying, shame me, or, you know what I'm saying, like, do all type of shit. Like, I got nothing to lose. I got nothing to fucking lose. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to find out what the you know what I'm saying, like the American dream is. I haven't witnessed the American dream. I've been living in a hell since I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck you mean? So I got nothing to lose, bro. I don't know what you mean by, you know what I'm saying? If they want to do that, they can. And by the way, like, I want to talk, you know what I'm saying, to black people as well, because black people should be terrified. Like, black people should be terrified because United States can do this shit right now. And who the fuck can save black people? No fucking body. Nobody. At least Palestine, you know what I'm saying, is surrounded by some people at least. At least there's like 0.00001% chance of hope for the Palestinians. But in America, if the United States decides they're gonna do what Israel did to the Palestinians, they've been doing that shit. They're the masters, by the way. They are. You kidding me? They're like. By the way, man, I'm just gonna play this video. I'm gonna play like 3-4 minutes of this, and we'll wrap this shit up. Sorry, I apologize. My camera died. I got another battery. I can plug that one in, but I just want to play this video, and we'll continue.
Confrontation between the Zionists and the British, with Palestinians often targeted as well. The Zionists knew two things. Militarily, they were stronger than the Palestinians, and Britain was exhausted by World War II, so it wouldn't have the stomach to keep fighting in Palestine. They were right. In 1947, after 30 years of occupation, Britain announced it was quitting Palestine and asked the newly formed United Nations to clean up its mess. Alright, 1947 and 1948 are the most pivotal years in this story, so let's take a look at how things are lining up. During British rule, Jews had gone from 10% to 30% of the population, and owned about 6% of the land. Under Ben-Gurion's leadership, the Jewish Agency was pretty much functioning as a government for the Jewish community. And the Zionist militias had tens of thousands of soldiers, modern weapons, and officers who'd already fought in World War II. On the other side, the Palestinians hadn't been allowed to develop their own administration or military. But as they waited for the UN solution, they were still the majority all over the country. In November 1947, the UN, then only made up of a fraction of the world's countries, voted to partition Palestine. This plan marked off 55% of the country for a Jewish state, but the UN never explained how it could be a Jewish state when half the people in its territory were Palestinian. To nobody's surprise, Palestinians, and in fact all Arabs, rejected the UN's plan. Ben-Gurion and the Zionist leadership accepted, but they saw an opportunity. With the British on the way out, the Zionists knew they would have the strongest military in Palestine. Their forces were instructed to seize more territory than they'd been awarded by the UN, and to do what was necessary to reduce the number of Palestinians in it. In cities like Haifa, the militia set off car bombs in Palestinian neighborhoods. They attacked villages and forced residents out.
Haganah troops have driven the Arabs out of the beleaguered city, taking many prisoners.
After inspecting parts of western Jerusalem that had been emptied of Palestinians, Ben-Gurion said,
"In many Arab neighborhoods in the West, you do not see even one Arab. If we persist, it is quite possible that in the next 6 or 8 months there will be considerable changes in the country, and to our advantage."
One of the events that helped speed up these changes took place on April 9th, 1948, when the village of Deir Yassin was attacked. A British government report to the United Nations describes the scene. 250 people were killed in circumstances of great savagery. Women and children were stripped, lined up, photographed, and then slaughtered by automatic firing. The story of what happened at Deir Yassin set off panic all over the country. As news spread, people fled, fearing they would be next. Historians have recorded dozens of similar massacres during this period. Each time, they would result in entire communities fleeing.
תמיד הייתה הוראה, והייתה הוראה של בן גוריון, לגרש את האנשים משם. כבשנו את המקום, טרקטורים חרשו את המקום. חרשו. לא נשאר זכר של כפר. למה? לא רצו שתהיה, לא חזרה ולא זכר של המקום.
By the time Britain ended its mandate on May 15, 1948, 250,000 Palestinians had fled. The night before, David Ben-Gurion announced the founding of the State of Israel, with himself as its first prime minister. He was standing under a giant portrait of Herzl, 51 years after Herzl had predicted this very moment. The Zionist militias came together as the newly formed Israel Defense Forces, but the fighting wasn't over. With the British out of the way, soldiers from several Arab countries entered Palestine. But the Israeli army was better equipped, better organized, and unlike the Arab armies, had a unified command and backing from several European countries. Israeli forces pushed into places that the UN had assigned to the Palestinian state, like the towns of Lidda and Ramle. 50,000 people were forced to flee from there, many on foot, in what became known as the Lidda Death March. After being emptied, the towns were given Hebrew names, Lod and Ramla. Like in many other emptied towns, the buildings and homes were taken over by the new Israeli state and given to Jews. By the time the UN secured an armistice, 3/4 of the Palestinian people had become refugees. In Arabic, they call this the Nakba, literally the catastrophe. The new state of Israel made up 78% of what had been Palestine. The remaining parts were annexed by Jordan or taken over by Egypt. A year later, the UN passed a resolution calling for all Palestinian refugees to be allowed to return home. They never have been. Palestine had been erased. In the decades since, attempts to resolve this conflict have again tried to partition the land. With each successive attempt, the territory offered to Palestinians in their historic homeland shrinks even more. Ironically, Israel is still struggling to maintain the population advantage it gained in 1948 when it forced all those people out, because in 1967, it occupied the West Bank and Gaza, bringing all the Palestinians living there under its rule. And so today, the population of Jews and non-Jews in this land is roughly equal. But those living under occupation have no rights, no citizenship, and no prospect of independence. The Nakba-era tactics of settlement, home demolitions, and expulsion are still used against them.
Nakba, Nakba, no! We want Nakba, Nakba, no!
Israel has taken the land but wants nothing to do with the millions under its rule. International, Israeli, and Palestinian human rights groups say this system is a form of apartheid. To see if that's an accurate description of Israel more than 100 years after Balfour's promise, watch this video here. Parts of Western Jerusalem that have been emptied of Palestinians, Ben-Gurion said, in May fought more than 100 years later.
His Majesty's government view with favour the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavours to facilitate the achievement of this object.
When Balfour wrote of his government's intent to create a Jewish homeland in Palestine, 90% of the people living there were not Jewish. Just 31 years later, most of them were gone.
לא ספרתי. אני לא יכול לדעת בחיי. היה לי מקלע עם 250 כדורים.
This is the story of the British promise that led to the destruction of Palestine and the creation of the State of Israel. Let's start with the obvious question. Why were the British making promises about other people's countries? The short answer? Empire is one hell of a drug. This was World War I, and the British were making lots of promises. In addition to promising a Jewish homeland in Palestine, they promised Arab leaders independence if they rose up against Britain's enemy, the Ottoman Empire. The Arabs did. Hollywood even made a movie about it.
Arabia's for the Arabs now. That's what I've told them anyway. That's what they think. That's why they're fighting.
Oh, surely.
A month after Balfour's letter, British troops took Palestine, ending 400 years of Ottoman rule. The people who lived there were Arabs, mostly Muslims, but there were Christian and Jewish minorities too. There was also a tiny number of European Jews who in the late 1800s had started building small colonies there. At a time when many Jews were suffering horrific persecution in Europe, they felt Palestine could be an escape. The idea of building up a Jewish presence in Palestine became known as Zionism, but it stayed a fringe movement among European Jews. Many of them felt they shouldn't have to leave their countries to avoid persecution. But Zionism as a political movement took a big step forward with an Austrian man called Theodor Herzl. And this guy is a very important name in this story. In 1896, he published Der Judenstaat, or in English, the Jewish State. In it, he said the only way for Jews to avoid Europe's anti-Semitism was not just to leave, but to have their own country. And Herzl didn't just write. The next year, he organized a conference in Basel, Switzerland, the first Zionist Congress. The attendees agreed on a program which sought, among other things, to establish a Jewish homeland in Palestine and promote Jewish settlement in Palestine. From here on out, the Zionist movement became very active, setting up funds to promote Jewish immigration to Palestine, companies to buy land there, and recruiting representatives to advocate for their cause with different governments. A few days after the conference, Herzl wrote this in his diary.
At Basel, I founded the Jewish state. In 5 years perhaps, and certainly in 50 years, everyone will perceive it.
He was only off by 1 year. Okay, so that is a lot of history, but it's important because the Zionist movement is a critical part of the story going forward, especially after it found a friend in the British government, where a lot of high-ranking officials supported Zionism, sometimes for unexpected reasons. Prime Minister Lloyd George, for example, was a Christian zealot who believed gathering the Jewish people in Palestine would bring Jesus Christ back to earth. Others, like Balfour, believed that getting the Jewish people out of Europe and into their own country would be a good thing. Herzl was pretty visionary when he wrote that the anti-Semitic nations will become our allies. Meanwhile, the Zionists assured Britain that their future country would be a reliable ally. So that's the backstory of how European anti-Semitism, Zionism, and British imperialism all led to the Balfour Declaration, this British promise to build a homeland for Jews in Palestine. Now we're going to look at how Britain did that. World War I had been a conflict between